Now, the rest of the country may have been tuned into the Casey Anthony trial, but not to worry. Let not your heart be troubled. The Obama mania media, they were up to the same old tricks. And back with his take on this week's dose of thrill up your leg, liberal media bias, the president of the Media Research Center, Brent Bozell, is back. Sir, how are you?
Dr. Hannity, how are we doing?
You know, God love Chris Matthews. You just got to love the guy. He's back, and this time, just when you think he can't go further, here he is comparing the GOP to terrorists and radical Islamists.
You know, it's interesting. I was talking about the old days. I've never seen either political party play terrorist with this regard. The debt ceiling, the limit, it's always been sacrosanct. The Republican Party today is not the Republican Party of even a couple years ago. It seems to me it is overrun now by people who are abolitionists. They're willing to abolish government, and they're willing to bring it down if they have to, and they don't really give a darn or damn about the consequences. Also, is the Republican Party willing to risk economic Armageddon in the name of religion? That is the religion of no taxes. Well, the GOP has become the Wahhabis of American government, willing to risk bringing down the whole country in the service of their anti-tax ideology.
What can you even say about this?
Well, look at it this way. Mark Halperin was just banned indefinitely from MSNBC for using a crude anatomical term to describe the president as a jerk. Now, he's banned. Chris Matthews calls Republicans terrorists, says that they want to destroy bring the United States government down, and that's perfectly okay. I've got to think, Sean, there comes a point where conservatives have got to say to themselves, why are we going on this man's show? Why are we giving him any aid and comfort? This is a man who believes that not just exaggeration and hyperbole, but character assassination is acceptable now to be used against conservatives.
Well, it's just beyond the pale, and it happens more and more. Nobody seems to be outraged. We said similar things. We know what the result would be in the media. And by the way, I didn't think Halperin should have been suspended. He was assured, don't worry, we'll dump it. We'll hit the dump button. And you know what? They didn't do it. And then all of a sudden they threw him right overboard when they promised, no, I'll catch you if you fall.
But this is the double standard. You have to be civil when dealing with liberals, but you can say anything you want to against conservatives, and it's okay.
All right, on the same network, on, I guess the media's most beloved Rhino liberal show, that you got Tina Brown comparing Republicans to suicide bombers as it relates to budget talks along the same lines. Let's roll the tape.
What was the answer to my question about who the hostage taker is, Willie?
Sounds like Pat's boys. Pat's boys are holding the hostage.
I think they're the suicide bombers in all of this.
Oh, my God.
I think they're standing on principle. They're doing what they believe is right.
Come on.
They are just not serious people on both sides.
Suicide bombers.
This is the same woman, Sean Hannity, who at the end of 2009 went after Rush Limbaugh with everything she had, saying that he was creating a toxic atmosphere. Why? Because he said he hoped Obama's policies would fail. Yet she can call conservatives suicide bombers, and it's okay.
All right.
What hypocrisy.
It is amazing. It just, civility only works in one direction. The president can smear Republicans as much as he wants. Then he lectures everybody on civility. And this is why we do this segment, because the media for years got away with it because they controlled everything. Now they don't, which I think explains the intensity of the hatred of Fox News and talk radio.
No question. They are going hysterical. But you and I have talked about this before. We've said this was going to happen. They are going to let everything fly between now and November of 2012. They're going to throw everything and the kitchen sink to get their way. But I don't know if it's going to work, but they're going to try it.
All right, let me go. We've got an important, our country's going bankrupt. I mean, we have just a little under $5 trillion of new Obama debt, new entitlement program health care, Medicare, Social Security headed for bankruptcy. We're risking our AAA bond rating, and China's going to surpass us in terms of an economic power within 5 years. So we've got to cut spending. But let's look at CBS News and how all cuts, of course, are draconian. Here we go.
I take your point on some of the things you've done, because a lot of people say it's miraculous that you got your budget done. But in order to do it, you had to cut deeply into education. Now, Governor Walker up in Wisconsin, he had to do the same thing when he got his budget done. I guess, Governor Walker, I would ask you, is that going to be the wave of the future, is to just cut deeply into education? Your legislature has just sent you a budget that I have to say looks a lot more Republican than Democrat in Massachusetts. Of all places. It limits bargaining rights of state workers. There are deep cuts into programs for the poor, no tax increases. You had to make some draconian cuts yourself. You have cut down on the number of fire stations. You cut down on ambulance service. Do you feel good about that? I mean, is that what government's supposed to be doing here?
We take in $2.2 trillion a year, and they spend $1.65 trillion more, and it's not enough. And if you try and get that budget in balance, you're draconian. You're out of line.
You know, Sean, it's like the descriptions of conservatives. There's no such thing as a conservative. You're either far right, very far right, radical right. There's no such thing as a cut. It's a deep cut, a draconian cut. Look, these are the people who want a massive new stimulus program. Their solution is to spend even more money.
Unbelievable. It's you know, we don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. And if we don't get a hold of it, the country we love, as we know it, is going to fall off the cliff.
But the public is seeing it now. The public is seeing it now, Sean.
Oh, that's the thing. Thanks to new media. And thanks to you, Brent Bozell. Appreciate you being with us. And coming up, the festering scandal that could bring down numerous top White House officials. It's on the verge of eruption. More on the controversial Project Gunrunner with California Congressman Darrell Issa. And did Eric Holder, the Attorney General, lie? And is his position in jeopardy? Straight ahead.